right. Thank you for tuning in and watching this live stream. Art drawing for, what is today, January 19th already. So, on today's drawing, what I'm going to do is a drawing of a character that shares the same name as me. I'm not going to say who it is. I'm just going to go ahead and draw it. And if anyone's watching live and you're able to type in the chat, you could type in who it is once you think you know. I'm trying something a little bit different with the audio today. I have the microphone a little closer because the last couple of times I noticed it's been um, a little off. So I just brought the microphone up. So I'm gonna go ahead and start here. If you hear any buzzing around, I just have my phone set up on the table here. But I'm gonna do this one probably kind of quick. I like to draw my drawings since I've been doing one a day. I like to draw them pretty quick. So if I'm not talking too much when I'm doing this, just because I'm kind of trying to whip this out here. It should be actually pretty easy to tell who it's going to be pretty quick. But I'm going to obviously add my own little flair to it here. When I'm doing my drawings at night, usually it's only like 10 or 15 minutes, pretty quick sketches just to do it. I don't know. It's not that I'm rethinking the daily drawing, but it's definitely a lot to try to think of something to add some Christmas stuff into it every day. It's kind of tough. I'm going to shrink him down a little bit. I don't know if I just squished. I guess that's the same. No, I did mess up the proportion. Oh well, that's all right. We'll leave him there for a second. Now, if you can't tell by now who it is, I mean, I don't know anyone else that has this except for one of those wacky noodle arm things that are sitting around at car dealerships. So hopefully, hopefully you know who this is. It's from an oldie, an old classic. I had an ornament of this guy. Well, I shouldn't say I had. I still have an ornament of him, and I had a stocking that had all of the characters from the place where this one lived. I'm sure I still have it somewhere, floating around. All right, so first we'll just do the hand, even though most of it's going to be covered anyway. All right, then we'll do a couple of puff balls here. Then his outfit, it's all diamond, different colored diamonds on it. Obviously, with the hat and the thing around the neck, you could tell it's like a jester outfit. So the diamond design goes throughout the whole thing, and that'll be different colors, and then the little crank there. So that's the rough sketch of it. Then we're going to add the next layer, which will be the ink layer, and hopefully you know who this character is by now. I think I'm going to do, let's see, last couple days I've been drawing with a different pen, like a thinner one, fine tip, and the technical pen. Again, I like the syrup. think I'm going to go syrup just because it's one of my favorites. So now we'll start with the thing that kind of sticks out the most on him. Would be a schnauzer there. I'm not going to color the rosiness on the cheeks here just because it doesn't need them right now. All right. Guess that'll do. Now I'm debating on the hat because I have a brush that does a nice bristle. Well, not bristle, but I guess it's kind of like a cottony type of a thing. So I think I'm gonna leave the hat um, trim go for now and just work on this part of the hat. And then the same thing with the puff ball there on the end. I'll just use the that other brush and I'll do that at the end. I did that on one of the other drawings that I did. I think it was the wreath. The one day I did a wreath. I finished it in like 10 seconds just because I just swirled around with that one. So that one was a quick one. But now I'm just going to kind of lost my sketch underneath there. So I'm going to have to just kind of guess. It's no big deal. It's just. All right. Then we'll work on his creepy long arm here. Guess I could probably make that a little more ruffly if I wanted to, but again, I'm just kind of going for quickness here today. Same thing with the cotton ball puffy things on the shirt. I'm gonna leave them and do that with that other brush that I mentioned before. I don't know if I'm gonna do any outline on the diamond shapes. I think I'm just gonna do that with the color. So I'll just work on the box next. Again, one thing I kind of want to do is just work on a few different styles and techniques with the drawing as I'm doing this throughout the year. I've kind of been just sticking to my style for now, but eventually I'll get in there and refine it and work on some other things, different techniques, just so I don't get bored of doing it. Okay, you're not going to see any of the other lines in the box because he's there. Then the outline on that we'll do with the color. I'll just put the little handle in here. All right, so now if you couldn't tell by the sketch, then the ink layer, um, sharing the same name as me, this is Charlie in the Box from the Island of Misfit Toys from the Rudolph Rankin and Bass Christmas special. So I think I'm going to leave that sketch layer on for now. I'll turn this into the reference layer, and then I can actually start adding my color layer. Drag that down a little bit there. That way I could do that. Now, as I do this, I want to pull the pencil layer actually above the color layer. So, because if I didn't, let me show you what would happen. If I left that underneath it, let me just pick a random color here, and I were to color over it, I guess I shouldn't have picked black. I thought I had a different color picked. There we go. So now if I color over this, it actually hides the pencil layer, and I kind of want to leave that there. So if I put the pencil layer above it, but underneath the reference layer, then when I color it, if I work on the right layer, you should still see the pencil. So that's how we do that. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and color. But since I didn't close any of the things in, I'm going to have to just go straight up coloring it. I'm still going to use the syrup. I'm just going to color it in. Sometimes I kind of like when you go out of the lines, especially on this. And then the bottom part there, that's going to be the part of the hat with the cotton. So we got red up there. I'm going to tone this down a little bit because the mouth is red. Then the diamond shape. So on his outfit, it's green and red diamonds, and they are in a like a checkered type pattern. So if I do a red diamond here, obviously the next one underneath it's going to be green. So we're just going to alternate, leave a space in between, because then we'll go back and hit it up with the green one. And same thing for this arm. Doesn't have to be exactly precise and everything. It's just kind of wherever you want to put them. Then we'll go in and I'm going to make the brush a little bit bigger here for this. Leaving a space in the middle there. So that one would be a green one. And even if I kind of go over it, you could always just color over it the next layer with a different color. So it's no big deal. And I think we're good there. So now I'm going to switch it up, go to the green, kind of a darker green. And then I'll just shrink this back down. I'll do the green diamond layers in between here. Then switch it up to this arm. Then make the brush bigger again and fill in the center parts. That looks pretty good there. I guess I'm just gonna work on him while I'm here. So then we're gonna go with a very palish flesh tone color. Then I think, oh yeah, the nose. The nose is gonna be pink. I was just trying to think in my head if his nose was the same color as his face, but it's not. He's gonna have rosy cheeks and a different toned nose. Again, if I would have had all this closed in, I could have just done the drop and fill technique with the color, but oops. So I'm gonna just go and erase some of the overlap that I don't want. Kind of zoomed in right here. He kind of looks like a Muppet or something from Sesame Street. And that's no big deal in there. All right, so then for the thing around his neck with the bells, that's kind of a dark blue, like a navy blue type color. So we'll go back to that. Then once I get rid of the pencil sketch layer, everything will look a little cleaner. But then I got to go back on my outline layer and make my imperfections here. Can't leave them like this. Okay, so that looks good there. Now I'm going to do the bells off of the jester thing. They're gold. Then what I'm going to do when I'm done, I'm going to add just a little bit of sparkle to them. And that's just going to be done with a brush. It's a pretty neat technique. I did a drawing during the week where I just did a house and I did the Christmas lights on it. And I just used that. It's in one of the luminescent brushes there. All right, so now we're going to go to his cheeks. I'm going to give him a light pink. I'm going to go to the brush that I'm using, and I'm going to drop the opacity on it just so it's not so in your face. Like that. Then we're going to give him, his nose is a little bit more on the, again, like a Muppet, I guess you could say. Bring the opacity back up. Fill in the nose. Not quite red, but I guess I would call that like a Muppety color for a nose. And that's basically going to take care of him. Then I'm going to do the box, and that's a purplish color, like I guess kind of like a lavender color. That one, I think I could fill that one in because I think I closed it all off. If I didn't, it'll escape and it'll turn the whole page purple, so we'll know quickly if I didn't. All right, looks like I got everything. All right, so then what I'm going to do is get rid of my pencil layer just because I don't need that anymore, and that'll clean it up. Then I'm going to do, I guess I'll do a shadow layer, and then I'll go in and do the rest of the hat. So technically with this box, all four sides are going to be a different color. So what I'm going to do is just going to make it a little bit of a darker color and do that side darker. I'll do the inside darker than that. And the back, I'm going to pick up this front color again. I'm just going to make it a little bit darker than that, not too much. Oops. All right, so that'll take care of that. Then I'm going to go back to, I'll do the inside color because I have to draw the diamond design that's on the side of this. So it's going to just, all right, that'll work. And I don't recall what color the handle is. We're just going to make it a silverish color just because I don't remember. Not like I didn't leave too much. I kind of outlined it weird. All right, then we're going to add another layer, and we'll make this the shadow layer. So we're going to go down to the dark color, drop our opacity. Then we're going to just add different shadows in here. So obviously if you were inside the box, it would be a little darker down here. And then even more darker behind him. When you drop the opacity like that, every time you like draw over your line, you'll still see the other one underneath it. And I'm going to shrink it down because the side pieces, the diamond, technically would have a bunch of different shadows in there just because that wood is supposed to be like 3D, like actually just nailed on. But I'm not really going for 100% authenticity here. I'm just kind of messing around. So we'll do a shadow on him. I'm going to have shadows from all of the jester bells hanging down. Shadows on the jester bells from under his neck. And then each one of those will have a shadow like on the bottom. Now, if we're going to get kind of fancy here, here's what we're going to do. I said I'm going to highlight the bells on there. So while I'm doing that, I'll throw a shadow on them on this side. And then when I add the highlight to the other side, it'll make it stand out a lot more. All right, so we'll leave it like that. I need to put a shadow behind him on the box lid. So we're going to make that kind of big. But this shadow is going to incorporate his arm a little bit. So let me add that in here. I guess these shadows really aren't making sense because the way they are, that shadow should be above his arm. I'll just do it like that. It's no big deal. Then we'll do a shadow on this arm. We'll work a little bit on his fingers. That's probably too big. All right, so the inside of this ruffle would have a shadow. Each finger, technically all the ruffles here would have something. All right, that's good enough. Then we'll work on the hat. Then the face. Now, if I remember correctly, like his face, he had like not pudgy cheeks, but like I don't know, the sides of his face were I don't know, it's hard to explain, I guess. I don't want to see. I think if I do it like that, it's gonna look a little too weird. So let me just work on the highlight or the shadows here and his ears and stuff. Then we'll think about what I want to do for that. All right, so I might really drop it down and now if I do this, I could go in with this tool and kind of. Oops, that was a little too big there. Let's see. And just kind of soften it a little bit because I really don't want it to be that hard of a line there. So we'll leave it like that. Then I got to go back and add a shadow underneath his hat brim. And all this is going to get covered up pretty much by the fuzz that I'm going to put on. So while I have this here, I'll do his eye a little bit. That looks fine. Just add a little on the box here, just for no real reason. All right, so now what I'm going to do, if I pick my background color and change it, all of his body, which I didn't turn white, is going to change color. See, if I do this. So I don't like to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it white. Then I'm just going to add a different layer. I'm going to put it behind everything. So all the other stuff's in front of it. And then I'm just going to pick a random color. I don't know what would go good with this. Maybe I'll just stick with something in the yellow area because he doesn't really have too much yellow on him. I'll add the brush. Let me just see what happens if I color over this. Yeah, it still fills in those areas, but what I'm going to do is select him. Just kind of outline him. Not the best, but just to block him off. Then I'm going to invert it, so now when I draw, it'll be in the back. So I'm going to pick a brush. Let's see. Let me just try something. Oh, we'll just do something like that. See how big it is. Drop the opacity. That's fine. All right. Yeah, actually, you know what? I don't really like that color. Yeah, I'm going to do a different color. Get rid of that. I'm going to add, let's see. Let's see how a blue would look. I'll drop the opacity down so it's not as in your face. Yeah, we'll do it like that because it's kind of like cold because the Island of Misfits. The Island of Misfit toys. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is go to white. I'm going to go back to my color layer. Actually, I'm going to add the layer on top of the color layer and do it here. That way it'll stay on top. So now in my brushes, I have, let me see if I could find where it is. It might be that organic swordgrass one. I think it was that one. So I'm going to just test it out here. Test it out with the hat piece. Yeah, that worked. I just don't know if the background kind of makes it disappear a little bit. So I'll make it a little off-white to see how that works. Make it smaller. That way I can kind of swirl it around. We'll leave it like that. And then for the hat, 2 quick passes. Not too bad. And then he had a couple of them going down his shirt. That looks pretty good. So that's that. So now what I'm going to do, one last touch, is the bells. So I'm going to go back to pure white for that. I'm going to go to the luminance and the flare. I'm just going to make it small, but it should just be enough to make it look like it's glaring off of the bell. I'll do it on each one. Yep, and I think that's going to do it for the coloring. I'm going to go back to my reference layer and just add a couple more of my little lines that I want to add here. So I'm going to drop that small. Add a few different, just a couple little things to them. To add a few stray hairs here and there. Some loose threads on the shirt, whatever. It's just some wear and tear. It's a Charlie in the box, so add a couple on the outside. All right, I think that's going to do it. So now all I'm going to do is date the art piece, and let's see what I say. Today's the 19th. So let me throw my signature on there. Date it. And that is the art piece for today. So thank you for watching. If you guys want to check in, if you're watching this live on Twitch, all the stuff, if you click on the links below, they're all on there. I post daily on Instagram. That could be found at Ague Designs. If you're watching this later on YouTube, just click the links in the description. You could go over to the coffee page. That's ko-fi.com/Ague Designs if you want to donate there. Or you can just watch me every Wednesday here on Twitch, doing it live, and make sure you check out the Instagram feed for my daily posts. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week.